Valid for new commercial.
Stocks on your own. Sounds scary, doesn't it? All the math and analysis, charting and graphs, and what if you make a mistake? The fear of investing causes people to give their money to advisors at large financial firms.
Put it on
but do they care
my
about your
page
future as
now.
much as you do? At Tradeway, our experienced investors teach you how to break down the confusing world of finance and be in control of your money. Learn how to avoid mistakes and find potential profits. If you don't plan to trade, at least you'll know what your advisor is doing.
How do
Controlling
I-
your investments may seem like a
figured
big
it out last
goal,
time.
but small steps can get you there.
Oh, what's
to
going
learn
on?
more,
Did
call
our internet stop
877-907-TRADE or go to tradeway.com.
No.
That's Tradeway.
I don't know.
We're
It's
still on the
showing
radio.
live here,
Big
yeah.
goals, small steps. Coming to the
It's
Sheraton
gonna get
North
better
Houston,
and better.
June 23rd to 24th. Only $99.95 for your entire household, plus a free ticket for a friend and a full money-back guarantee. To register, call 877-907-TRADE. That's 877-907-8723. Or go to tradeway.com. That's tradeway.com.
Did you know that the average yearly repair bill for a car 5 years or older is more than $1,200? Having repair coverage for your car just makes sense, but the trick is not to overpay for it. With Toco Warranty, you can get a highly rated vehicle protection plan, usually for less than a tank of gas per month. And now, we're offering a zero down payment program. To get a great car vehicle protection plan at a super low price, call Toco Warranty at 1-800-269-3100. That's
Not working?
1-800-269-3100.
Well, I mean,
Terms and conditions apply.
The following program does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station.
It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Jason Bible. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Will.
And the Facebook is really active today.
Get ready. The guide that will put your fears
All right,
behind
y'all,
you
stand
is on
by.
the air now. Taking
All right,
calls at
guys. Hot mics in 5, 4,
785-1817.
3,
Toll free
2,
877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Jason Bible.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Special Friday edition. Oh, you've got your posture. You're sitting
I know.
straight
I was
up.
watching it last time. I was so worried about my posture, and now I'm just going to look like a robot the
Yeah.
whole time. So
Well, now you've got me sitting straight up.
yeah, that's just going to get awkward.
So you probably noticed, got somebody in studio with me, Michelle Emler of NextGen Appraisals. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. Good morning.
How's the appraisal world doing?
It's good. It's the same as yesterday,
Same
I
as
guess.
yesterday.
So yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about appraisal. Who should get an appraiser? Like, who should get an appraisal on a property? Investors?
Everybody.
homeowners? Everybody. That's right.
Everybody.
Everybody should get an appraisal. So if you're a real estate investor, like if you're looking to buy a piece of property, inherited a property.
Definitely.
I like
Yeah.
the commercial. We said, hey, you inherited a piece of property. Hey, what's this thing worth? I don't know.
Right.
If you're a private money lender, should get an appraisal. At
Definitely.
least a desktop
I
appraisal,
mean,
right?
know where your number is going to be, at least an idea of it, right? You're just doing yourself a disservice guessing. That's
So-
a lot of money to put on the line for a guess.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And desktop appraisal is pretty easy for you guys to do real quickly and then send back
Yeah,
out.
they take us about 2 business days.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a quick turn time. They're really good for just a quick number. Hey, we need to know if we need to go further with this loan or not. For me personally, if I was a private money lender and putting that kind of money on the line, I would get a full appraisal because you just don't want to have any ifs, ands, or buts, right? You know, oh, well, if we did a full appraisal, we would have known that the square footage was wrong or whatever else could have happened. So,
You know, that it's funny you mentioned the square footage piece. We've bought houses before. When you go in and walk a house,
yeah.
it's sometimes difficult to tell the difference between 2,800 and 3,200 square feet when there's furniture in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Yeah, you can't really stand in a house and say, "Oh, well, this house is this square footage." You know what I mean? But I would say at least once a month I get a appraisal that I do that comes back somewhere 300 and plus square footage off
Wow.
from tax rolls.
And that's probably 10, 15, 20% depending on the property.
Yeah,
you're
I
looking at.
mean, it's huge.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal when you're missing 20% of your square footage.
Yeah, I mean, there's also cases where the bedroom count is wrong, bathroom count is wrong. That happens a lot. So yeah, the tax assessors, they don't come out and measure your house. They did at one point, and they did determine how many bedrooms and bathrooms you have. But especially if you have an older house, that data gets lost somewhere, manipulated somehow, typos here. So it's just double check. I mean,
we were in the middle of a rehab, and Tom and I just happened to be at this house. And the actual tax appraiser they have a little green jacket on.
Yeah, they'll show up at your house and knock on your door.
Yeah, so they showed up. He was in the neighborhood and he saw us working on the house. I said, "Hey, you want to come look at the house?" He was like, "Sure." We took him through the house, and I felt so bad for the neighbors in that neighborhood. We were improving the value probably a little too much. So everybody wants their house to be worth a lot until
they got to pay taxes. Yeah,
that's right. So, well, how do folks contact you before we start talking about Zillow and some other stuff today?
You can call us 713-346-9911 or check us out online, nextgenappraisals.com. We got a really cool feature I'm really excited about. We got an online ordering system now. So there's a login button in the upper right-hand corner of our website. You just click that. It'll take you to it. You can sign up as a client, order an appraisal. We'll track that appraisal, give you updates, send you the completed appraisal. You can send the appraiser a question or anything like that all through this online portal. It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool. So it's like you're the next generation of
something,
appraisers.
yeah, I guess is the millennial.
That's right.
All the hard money lenders, because we actually had this for about 6 weeks now. Colby actually was one of the first users of it too.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we've been testing it out with them, and they're like, "You're such a millennial." I'm so tired of it. I just want to email you the order, and I'm like, "Trust me, it's better. Like once you get used to it, it's better."
Are you gonna have an app? That's the next thing. You need an app.
I don't know if we'll get an app, just because it'd be nice for the appraiser side to be able to update orders in the field and everything like that. But you can log into the mobile site from your phone, so. That's kind of where we're at.
And contrary to what people believe, apps are crazy expensive to develop.
Yeah, yeah.
As we've experienced with the RightPath real estate app, right?
Yeah, the cost benefit just isn't there for me right now. Yeah,
absolutely. So one of the things Tom was chatting about yesterday, and we talked a little bit about last night during our Base Camp and Pathfinder meetings, is an appraisal. You're trying to get at a value, right? This is what this piece of property is worth.
Correct.
However, what a lot of real estate investors miss is how many days on market is this going to be, and what? Okay, how many?
Tom is creeping in the hallway.
We have just to let you folks know, we have the door open to the radio studio because the air condition is out in the building. So if you hear a fan in the background, it's.
I wish we could turn the camera.
Yeah. Last day in the building and the AC goes out. Okay, go buy a townhouse. All right. Anyway, so. Tom was talking about yesterday. He said, "Hey, look, an appraisal is an assessment of value, right? Part art,
Correct.
Part science, right?
Sure.
And one of the things a lot of investors miss is what's the average days on market, and then what's going on in that market at the time, right?
Correct. Yeah. So every appraisal report should have what's considered a market conditions addendum, and it breaks down we're determining if that market is increasing, declining, etc. But also it has the days on market trend as well. So is that 90 days, 120 days, 5 days? Is it short or long? Is it increasing, decreasing as well? So you have to factor that in.
One of the things we were chatting about last night, some of our students had said, "Hey, Jason, how do you guys do, how do you determine after repaired value based on the comps?" And I said, "Well, I like to look at everything, terminated, expired, what's currently available on the market, pending, and then what's sold." And they said, "Wait a minute, we thought we would just look at just sold." I said, no, I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to know the absorption rate. That's a term you'll hear typically in multifamily, which means how much stuff is sold over a period of time.
Right. How long is it going to take the current inventory on the market to absorb into the market?
Correct.
So that's a part of an appraisal report as well, and it's important for you to know how long it's going to take for your home to sell. Another thing is when you're looking at comps, and if all the comps that you looked at exceed the median days on market, then that's kind of pushing value. If all of those comps were superior and better, but they took a longer time to sell, well, that was the exchange that seller made was, well, I'll leave it on the market longer for a higher sales price, and that's not a good indication of value.
It's kind of that the discussion we had yesterday was, hey, when do you stage a house? And we've got certain metrics we use to say, this is when we stage a house and this is when we don't stage a house, based on the cost of staging and the carrying cost on how long that property is going to be on the market, right? So there's kind of that X factor there. I don't want to call it a break-even analysis, but that's essentially what you're doing on staging. But you can do the same thing when you look at, well, in order for me to sell a house for X, how long is it going to be on the market to get that price?
Right. Yeah. I guess there is a point, because you could essentially put a house on a market, I guess, for 10 days or anything to kind of test and see if you're going to sell or not. And if you're not getting any traction or whatever at that point, make the decision to upsell the house with staging. I don't know.
We
2 minutes.
It's the staging thing's kind of interesting in that, again, we can do that cost benefit analysis, but one of the things that we tested early on is we had a neighborhood in which we had two houses that were about the same size, literally 2 streets apart, and we priced one well below the market and well above the market. Fascinating thing is they both
Kinda
reached market
ended up
parity.
meeting.
Yeah, they both reached parity about at the same time. But I'll tell you what, it was a lot more fun pricing it below market because that just brought the frenzy.
Yeah, definitely. I recently did a desktop appraisal. This property was kind of odd for the neighborhood, but kind of in a good way. It had a smaller lot size. It was smaller square footage than the rest of the neighborhood, things like that. And so there was nothing really comparable to it. And so you had to really determine how much am I going to adjust down for all of these other sales, and what's that minimum amount someone's willing to pay to buy into this neighborhood. And it ended up being, I think, $8,000 on a $165,000 house. My appraisal was $8,000 more than what they ended up buying it for, just because of, and that same thing happened. They had kind of a buying frenzy because I guess the realtor didn't know what to list it for. And yeah,
I love it. I love the frenzy. They get emotionally involved. I gotta have this.
Yeah,
house,
it ends up. Yeah,
and of course, then they run up above, appraisal, and then of course the appraisal comes in. And they're like, "What do we do now?" I'm like, "Well, that's what you wanted to buy the house for."
Yeah, you were okay with it before. Now you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to break here. This is Jason Bible. I'm here with Michelle Emler of NextGen Appraisals. This is RightPath Real Estate.
Mic's off.
Yeah, I saw you looking over here. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why'd you stop talking?
And then I was like, why? And I was looking at him like,
Investor
why are you
loans
just
offering
standing
up
there?
to
Yeah, I was like, what's going on now?
And now I realize because our next studio has a glass wall in it that you can see into the hallway.
Oh, that's going to be great.
And I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Noble Mortgage offers up to 100%
Y'all gonna set up like
financing to
stands?
investors that covers
People can sit and watch
purchase,
the show.
repairs,
Yeah.
Who does
and
that?
closing costs.
Dave
In addition to
Ramsey?
private
Have you
money,
seen
does
his
he?
Noble
podcast?
Mortgage offers
There's like a
conventional
viewing
loans,
room of his
FHA, and even
show.
no income documentation loans
People
for
are just
both
Yeah,
staring.
people are just
residential
sitting there
and
watching him
commercial
on the
properties.
radio.
Call
It's
and ask
kind of
about our
like,
5-point guarantee.
I don't know what
which
the appeal is,
includes
but okay.
Free
Yeah.
pre-qualifications
Well, we put
within
the-
2 business days.
We wanted to put the
Call
glass there and build like a little TV
713-680-8100
studio looking thing.
or visit noblemoney.com.
And then we're going to have all the
That's
radio show sponsors and those
noblemoney.com.
really nice
Our team has over
kind of
50
3D
years
logos like we have for
experience in the
Houston House
mortgage
Buyers
industry.
around the
Call us
studio.
today,
Oh, cool.
713-680-8100.
And then we'll have a little couch and all that stuff. So it's going to be really
or
neat when it
visit
gets
us on the
done.
web,
But
noblemoney.com,
I didn't think that people were just
noblemoney.com.
going to sit there and
NMLS
stare.
They will.
2921
It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
8203 Willow Place Drive, Houston, Texas.
People you don't know are just gonna show up.
77070.
Yeah. Something's goofed up in my computer.
Time is money in a
'Cause
real
I know
estate
that's not
deal.
what it looks like.
If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber,
Surely that's not what that
wholesaler,
looks like, right?
buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help
Yeah,
save
this looks
time and
good
money.
here.
Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor
Looks
package.
good here.
Call us and let
Yeah, I
us show
saw
you
it on
what
my
we
phone. It
can
looks
do
good.
for you at 281-569-4353.
Just-
That's
hold on.
281-569-4353.
Might be restart time.
Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com.
See if we have
That's
any questions.
281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Do you have cracks in your brick, doors that stick, or sheetrock that's coming apart? then you may have foundation movement.
I
Due
need
to
to
our
get these
expansive
guys to
soils
come
in
out
the
to my
Houston area,
house.
it's probably not a
Your
question
personal
of
house?
if you
Yeah.
have movement
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah,
Call
Tim.
We're
Foundation
like
Check.
looking, and I was like,
unbiased.
yeah, that's foundation probably when you
Check
see the.
has been in business
Yeah.
since 2009 and has completed over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in
And
the
they can tell you what
business
it
of
is,
repairing
too, if we got to go in
foundations
and do
or
foundation
selling
and
you
mud and all that
unnecessary
other
materials.
stuff.
Oh, really?
So we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house
I
flippers,
know that the neighbor
landlords, or
across
even
the street from me,
owner-occupied
she
properties.
also needs her foundation
Each of our
done.
files is reviewed
So
by a
I'm like,
licensed
the
engineer.
negotiator in me is
Remember
like,
to
look,
check before ever
got a
repair.
twofer.
Yeah, I got a two for
Give me a
one.
deal.
Yeah.
702-3825. That's 346.
All right, which one of these
702
of these do we want to do first?
3825.
So I thought we would just say, you know, hey, did you hear about this? And then we'll just read a blurb to fill everybody in on what's going on. Probably this part right here.
In the U.S. Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally.
And then we can go
here in
back and
Houston,
forth on what
Texas.
your thoughts are,
At Quest
mine,
IRA,
how
we
it's not
offer
really an
retirement
appraisal.
accounts. They can be used to invest in real estate.
The thing that
promissory
bothers me
notes,
about these
private
is that
entities, and much more.
whenever you
Many
say,
of our
well, how
clients
did you
loan money
determine
from
your
their
value?
IRAs
They say,
to
well, it's
fund real estate
proprietary.
deals all
Oh,
over the
yeah,
country.
it's a secret.
We don't sell
I was
any
like, all
investments or
right,
give
you know,
advice.
I
However,
do a
we
report.
hold
You got to
free
know
networking events,
every little thing I
weekly
did,
educational classes,
every thought
and
I
free
had.
consultations
So
with an IRA specialist. For more
I think it's really
information,
important
visit
when you
our
get an
website
appraisal,
at
whether it's this or whatever,
questira.com
to know the
or call
why
us at
of that number. And if you don't agree with the why, then you probably don't agree with the value.
$24 trillion in
The
retirement
why should
accounts
happen
in the
before the
US.
value.
Call
Right,
Quest
right, yeah.
IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
This is business.
All right, you guys. Hot mics in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. Probably should give out the phone number, 713-785-1817. I'm here with Michelle Emler of NextGen Appraisals, and we're talking about appraising single-family real estate.
Yeah.
Now, rumor on the street is Zillow is in a... Yeah, rumor on the street is...
You just walking around the
That's
street,
right, so
people telling you these things?
I was down the street here next to these Class D apartments, and I said, hey, guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
And they said, rumor on the street is Zillow is in a little bit of trouble.
Is that what happened, or did a little birdie send you an email?
You probably sent me an email with a couple of these articles.
Yeah, Zillow is under a class action lawsuit right now. So it started out as an individual was having a difficult time selling her home. And she found out the reason why is because the Zestimate, and you can't see it in radio land, but I'm doing air quotes around
yeah.
Zestimate. The Zestimate was much lower than what her home was worth. And so she would have people come out, look at it, not put in an offer, and she'd ask why, and they'd say, oh, well, it's not worth that much. Why do you say that? Oh, well, Zestimate. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And so I got to tell you, the appraisal community is kind of giddy a little bit that this is happening because estimates are kind of been something we've been fighting for a while. And I guess not fighting is a good term, but just disagree with. Anytime a computer algorithm determines your home value, it's always going to be wrong.
Yeah, it's not a stock or a bond, right? Each house is a little bit different.
Yeah, you got to lay eyes on the property. Even if it's just pictures, you need to understand that property to some extent, and computers just don't have that right now.
Pretty bad at
currently.
Currently, yeah.
Probably gonna be there in like 2 days.
Until they have appraisals drones that fly in and look at the house.
Hey, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I'll just fly my little drone to your house,
That's right.
measure it, take pictures, leave.
So they're in a little bit of trouble. One of the articles we were talking about is in Chicago. And it says the Zillow's estimate comes within 5.9% of the eventual sales price 44% of the time.
For Chicago, yeah. So, hey, they're right about half the time.
About half the time.
Within 5%.
We're at about 6%. We're pretty close.
Right.
I love when a wholesaler sends out an email and says, hey, the ARV, and they say it's based on Zillow. And everyone laughs here in Texas.
Yeah.
Because we're a non-disclosure state, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of funny when you get some of those estimates and you're like, that doesn't even make sense, man.
Has Houston house buyers had that on the buy or sell side where someone's like, well, no, my home is worth this much because of Zillow? And
Oh, we've had it on the buy side. Absolutely. They
Yeah.
said, well, this is what it's worth. And we're like, well, we are a full service real estate brokerage. We can say, we pull it up on heart. We can't, by the way, those that are on the radio, I'm holding up a pretend iPad in my
we talk
hand.
with our hands too much.
Yeah.
We got to describe what we're doing.
This is my iPad in my hand right here. So we'll go through HAR, Houston area realtors. We'll go through, and which is our MLS, and we'll say, hey, this is what the houses are selling for in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not the Zillow number.
Not the Zillow number. Yeah. I just don't like that. Anytime you ask Zillow, you know, how did you come up with this number? How are you determining your values? They're like, oh, that's proprietary.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's just like saying, you know, take a walk. You know, you don't need to know.
It's super secret.
That's our business, not yours. And
That's
it's kind of
right.
like, actually, it is my business, and you made it my business because you appraised my house.
Right.
And now no one wants to buy it because they think it's worth a lot less than what you're claiming. I also, so the woman that started the initial lawsuit that eventually turned into a class action lawsuit was doing an interview on this show called Voice of Appraisal. So, you know, it's all the rage in appraisal world. Yeah.
Voice of Appraisal.
Yeah. You know how there's
Interesting.
voice of realtor, voice of real estate that realtors have? Okay. Well, it's like the appraisal version of that. So
is this like an HGTV show or something?
No, it's a podcast.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah. You know, he's
Okay.
like a celebrity in appraisal world. His name's Phil Crawford. Yeah. So
Where's Phil out of?
I can't remember. I want to say Illinois, but I don't know. So he was doing the interview with the person that initially did this lawsuit. Turns out she's a real estate attorney. And they were talking about it, and he found an interview that someone that works at Zillow did on YouTube discussing how a realtor called them and said, well, your estimates are wrong. They're inaccurate. And they're like, well, you can use that as a selling point for why they need to talk to you to get a value. And I was kind of like, so you even know that these estimates are not a good idea, and you're trying to pivot that to be a good thing. It's just kind of all kinds of crazy.
It's kind of weird. Which, I mean, when you look at what Zillow's business model really is, it's lead aggregation, right? They're selling leads. To real estate
you have to be a
agents.
Zillow Premier agent to get leads and be marketed on their website and stuff like that.
So really, it's just a lead gen source.
Definitely, yeah.
So they're not necessarily all about being all that accurate. So let's see. Zillow estimates are within 5% of actual sales price, 54% of the time, and within 10%, 75% of the time. But they're within 20%, 90% of the time. I think you can just look at the tax appraised value, and usually those
you'll
are within
be
about
just
20%.
the same. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's what it even said where I read, where it's like, how do you determine the value? And, you know, it's like proprietary, but we get our information from tax rolls and everything else. And it's like, you know, people dispute those values, right? Those aren't, you know, independent determined values. They've been influenced. And so
It's fascinating when you look at tax appraised value. Typically, the greater the value of the house, the more likely it is that it's undervalued from a tax appraised value.
Yeah.
And the more likely the least valuable the house is, the more likely it's the tax appraised value is greater than the actual market value of the property.
Yeah, so if you look at it, and if you have access to seeing, you know, hundreds of these on a daily basis, you'll start to notice that the higher the price goes, the more the value's towards the land, which I guess makes sense because location is, you know, the number one reason for real estate selling. But at the same time, it doesn't really make sense because if you have a huge mansion, you know, next to a cottage and their land value is equivalent, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me.
We've looked at a couple of these deals where somebody's won the lottery, won a big lawsuit, and they built the mansion for mama, you know, just outside the trailer park.
Yeah, I just appraised that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
So you do, and then they come to you and say, "Hey, we're interested in selling the house. It needs a lot of work and all." And then I look at it and go, "Well, I don't think anybody that wants to buy $1 million home wants to do so in this area."
Right.
You know, typically you like $1 million homes next to other $1 million homes.
You're going to
right?
have to sell that house for a bargain for it to be worth someone to take the cut, I guess, on living in a lesser desirable area. Or even then, I don't know, it just looks odd, you know, and I think that would make me personally uncomfortable. It's like, oh, look, I live in this 4,000 square foot house next to all these 1,200 square foot houses. It would just be uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different. And then you get different year builds. Like sometimes you go into these neighborhoods, some houses are built in the 70s, some are in the early 2000s, and it's like
right.
It's kind of this hodgepodge of
mix
real
and
estate.
match. Yeah,
it really is a little bit different. But
Galveston's like that a lot. Galveston, you have to be really careful. One, the age of the home. Two is the central AC, if it has central AC or not. And then three is they have, you know, like historical districts, and then they have their you can't follow the same general rule of thumb or, oh, well, all my comps are within a mile, or, you know, you really got to be like, well, what did the house next door sell for or within the block? You can't use, and also the shape of the island, you know, you can't use comps from the east side of the island to compare the west side and stuff like that. So
it's you know, we see the same thing, of course, in master plan communities. Look over at Cinco Ranch, and if someone's running comps in Cinco Ranch, it's, you know, the houses may be the same square footage, but there may be $100,000 difference.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you got to be in this little group of, you know, Lakes of Cinco Ranch or whatever it is, you know, this tight-knit
school
comp.
districts play a big part in Cinco Ranch and Katy. All you got to really focus not just on the school district, but the elementary school, you know, and build from there.
Yeah, we'll see it. We see it down in Sugar Land too, between the high school.
Yes, yeah,
definitely in the high school. Clements High School, a little bit higher value than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
So Zillow. So you're not real big fan of Zillow as far as determining value.
You know, I think they're fine if you take it with a grain of salt and just realize that a human did not evaluate your home, and a human is going to be who buys your home. So that's where it doesn't make sense to me and it misses it. So if you're like, you know, like they said, we're within 20%, 90% of the time, you know, just take that information. That interview I was telling you about, she was also discussing how she talked to someone who they owned like a $2 million home, I want to say, and the Zestimate was $1 million. And so the bank was trying to call in the loan because of the Zestimate. And he was like, why? He didn't understand. And so he ended up having to dispute it and get an appraisal. But, you know, you don't really have the leverage in that situation. If a bank's calling in your loan, do they really have to have a reason? I mean, they can just say they want it, right?
Yeah, well, I guess it depends on the type of loan he used to finance the property.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess they could call it due.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
That's a unique loan because that's not a Fannie Mae 30-year fixed rate loan, because once those loans are in place, they don't.
That clause isn't usually in loans anymore.
So that's interesting, huh? So the bank was just checking this estimate and said, hey,
I mean, which bank did that, by the way? Those Googled your house and determined the value and took its word for it.
You know, I bet Zillow has an API in which you could pull that right into your CRM and then compare to the assets that you've already got and have it run. I know you can do it with the MLS,
right?
But that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think it all comes down to you get what you pay for. And if someone's offering you something for free, then that needs to be your first indication of how valuable that information is.
Right. It's kind of like, Facebook is free and Twitter's free and all that. Well, it's not really free. You're giving away your personal information.
Yeah.
To be able to talk to all your buddies.
You also give away your time, you know, all those ads and stuff like that, you know.
We were talking about Twitter earlier today and misspellings and all that other stuff, all the social media stuff. And in order to be able to be a part of that environment, you do have to give away some of your, like you said, some of your time and certainly some of your data.
Yeah.
So, which is interesting. All right, so let's go back to Zillow. So, do you have a lot of folks that when you go out to start the appraisal process that they say, "Oh, well, this is what I think it's worth based on the Zestimate that Zillow puts out"?
Not now that we do primarily investor-based loans and appraisals. But when I was doing mostly on the conventional side, yeah, you would get that a lot.
Okay. All right, we get back from the break. We're going to talk more with Michelle Emler of NextGen Appraisals. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Mike's off.
All right, so
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started NextGen Appraisals. NextGen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of communication on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates on building those teams who operate with structure, process, and recognition for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a call today to find out the simple steps to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to consult with you soon. NMLS 514497.
Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. NMLS 514497. If you have cracks in your walls, ceilings, or floors, you may have a foundation leveling problem. Do you have doors that stick or just won't open right? Maybe you have gaps in the bricks of your fireplace. You need Green Tree Foundation Leveling, a fast, high-quality foundation leveling company based here in Houston. They know how hot it gets on the Gulf Coast. High summer temperatures, heavy rainfall, and clay-rich soils are leading causes of foundation cracks. If you have a cracked slab or a shifting foundation, call Green Tree Foundation Leveling at 832-329-1687. How old is your house? Many older homes in our area require foundation repair simply because of our climate and soil conditions. Green Tree Foundation Leveling provides free estimates within 24 hours. They repair concrete slab foundations and pier and beam homes too. The experts at Green Tree Foundation Leveling work fast and offer competitive rates, even a lifetime transferable warranty. Call 832-329-1687 to schedule an appointment with Green Tree Foundation Leveling.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success.
Hey, Jay, we got 1 minute.
Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
With that deal
no more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
The linchpin of that whole thing is,
give us a call today.
What's
at
the value?
832
Yeah.
And somebody other than the partners
again,
need to
that's
come up with that, what that number is, right?
Yeah, you need someone that's not benefiting from the sale. I mean, it sounds so easy when you and I are talking. We're like, well, duh, common sense and, you know, everything like that. But when you're in the moment and you're like, oh, yeah, you know, you get excited. And once that emotion takes hold of you, you've lost that independence from the transaction. And you can't assess it just blindly. You know, you're just kind of so excited about it, and you want to, you know, get the deal and everything like that. And, yeah. As soon as emotion takes over and you're no longer thinking of it from a business point of view.
All right, guys, stand
by.
by.
We got some questions.
All right, guys, hot mics in 5, 4, 3. Sorry, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I'm here with Michelle Emler of NextGen Appraisals. If you've got single-family appraisal questions, today is the day to call. 713 right now. Right now.
Call right now.
713-785-1887. 517. And I think we've got,
got some
questions. On
questions.
here. Okay.
All right. So I got, during appraisal, do you factor in life left on roof, appliances, etc.? So as far as life on roof goes, to Fannie Mae guidelines, or I can't remember exactly which guidelines it is, but the roof has to have a minimum of 3 years left to be considered all good. There are some instances where a new roof will add value, but in most cases, people just want a functioning roof on their home. They don't really care if it's new or not, as long as it's just good, a good roof.
Right.
Same goes for things like plumbing, electrical, any kind of systems or functions of the house.
You're not an inspector, right?
I'm not an inspector, and that's the difference, right? So the roof specifically, I'm going to look at it from the ground. I'm going to say, okay, that's an old roof, that's a new roof, that's an okay roof, right? That's the end of my job as far as the roof goes. Well, that's not true. I'll go inside and check if there's any holes or leaks or anything. An inspector actually gets on the roof, takes pictures, and is determining the life expectancy and condition of the roof. I'm just kind of giving it a pass or fail. So that's the difference.
Walking inside or looking outside and going, there's no holes in it.
Yeah.
And walking inside and go, it doesn't look like it's leaking.
Yeah. And I guess the condition to this is that FHA appraisals are different, and I'm not an FHA appraiser, so don't take my expertise as a substitute for an FHA appraiser, but they do a little bit more checks to see if the home is in good condition.
You know, there's also this, although this doesn't happen at the purchase of the property, but during the life cycle of the property, it's not uncommon for your insurance company to go out there and take a look at the house.
Right.
And so you want to make sure that the roof is in good condition because it is part of the building envelope.
Yeah.
So let's see, what other questions do we have here?
We got another one. I just signed up with NextGen website. How long will it take to approve my application? So in general, give us 2 business days because we need to give you a call, determine if you're a private money lender, private investor, or hard money lender, whatever the case may be, so that we can get the right appraisal products on your account. We actually offer over 30 appraisal products, but you don't need all 30 of them. You probably need 5. So we don't want to put stuff on there you don't need and just make it more confusing. So we'll check it out and get you approved and give us about 2 days.
Okay. So let's talk about like a unique home in the middle of a neighborhood, if you will. We were talking a little bit about this earlier.
What are you speaking about? Is there a home in particular?
Well, and the unique challenges in buying, we get a lot of, as you'd imagine, our businesses, we're buying houses that may need some work that are kind of, unique properties.
Right.
So you probably run into this from time to time as an appraiser for real estate investors.
Yeah.
And how do you manage the challenges of some of those unique properties? It's a 4,000 square foot house in a neighborhood of 1,200 square foot houses, or it's a, it's a newer house in a really older neighborhood.
Yeah. So in the house that you're talking about in particular, it was a large home surrounded by smaller homes. If you go out a mile, I think there were like 4 or 5 closed sales in the last 2 years that were even close to the same size.
Wow.
And even then, I say close as in like it was still 1,000 square foot less than this particular home. But those were still, the only comps that were really available to determine what that value would be based on location. So we took that number. Let me take something out of context because that's how I understand things sometimes. Say you have a 2-car garage, but in the neighborhood you only have 1-car garages and 3-car garages.
Okay.
And that's all you have available to determine value. So what would you do?
I don't know.
Kind of pick a number in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the scenario that happened with that particular house.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's actually interesting you bring up the garage issue. So we had last night when we were talking about comps, neighborhoods that have 1-car garages and 2-car garages. And I said, well, I don't get nervous about 1-car garages as long as the neighborhood, about 25% of the neighborhood has got 1-car garages. And you can actually pull some real comps from 1-car garages. Right. It's kind of like 2-bed, 1-bath. They'll tell you those are functionally obsolete. But if I got enough of those to determine value, then we can make some numbers.
Yeah, and sometimes the number with garage, specifically starts to get confusing because you have a 1-car garage, but you have a carport. So you're adding that car storage. It's not the same as a garage, but I have a place to park my car where it's sheltered. So then you kind of got to factor that in as well. Is this equivalent to a 2-car? Is it still less than a 2-car? Stuff like that.
You know, and then the other issue that seems to muddy the waters in certain neighborhoods where folks convert the garages to living space.
Yeah.
Which they did to that house that we bought down in Sugar Land, which if you're over the ARV of about $150K, you immediately need to reconvert that garage back, that space back to a garage.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I've seen some instances where that doesn't make sense, though. It makes sense if it's an older home where it's more common to have converted garages in the neighborhood, I guess is how I should put it. But I did do an appraisal for a home that was built early 2000s. And it just did not make sense. Like, this was a tract home neighborhood. All the houses looked the same. And even then, they didn't convert it all the way to the garage. They left a gap between. So it still had the garage door. It still looked like it had a garage. It's very confusing, really out of place. And in that scenario, that added square footage wasn't really helping them because people wanted a garage.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a price point issue in which at some point it's like, hey, look, we got to have a garage.
Yeah, yeah.
But we do see in the older neighborhoods below $150,000 where a lot of those garages do
start to become more common. Yeah, especially, and I don't think there's an actual correlation. I'm just trying to create a shortcut for people listening. It seems to me the lower the HOA fee is, the more common the garage conversions are.
There's probably a lot of correlations as it relates to lower HOA fee.
Or and you start seeing
or the lack of an HOA. So a lot of folks don't know Houston's the largest city in the country with no zoning. Right. And everyone thinks, oh my gosh, your real estate market is bedlam. Yeah. And it's like, well,
they also think we ride horses down, Main Street.
Yeah.
So
part of that is true. However, our HOAs are incredibly powerful down here. They do not mess around.
They can foreclose on you, right?
That's right. Yeah. So Tom almost got voted on his HOA board, which when he told me, he said, I think I may be sitting on the board of the HOA. I'm like, oh, please, that would be perfect. You on the HOA board would just be excellent.
Was he trying or it just kind of happened?
Well, this is the classic. Okay, folks, when you're kind of a leader, right? And you start speaking up in a meeting, what ends up happening?
Yeah, people will recognize you.
You know what? You'd be really great on the board. And then you go, oh, why didn't I just shut my mouth?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, my wife started going to the PTO meetings. And I'm like, oh, here it goes. Yeah. You're going to end up on that board. You better be careful. Yeah. So it's the same kind of thing. It's like, you'd be great on the board. It's like, yeah, because I only got 900 other things I got to do this week.
Don't have the time.
Yeah. That's right. I'm watching Trump's Twitter feed, not the HOA board. So, okay, so going back to Zillow, one of the things we were chatting about beforehand is, of course, Zillow is pumping out these estimates of what people think their property is worth.
Right.
And now there's another rumor on the street. Again, I was out walking around out in front of our building talking to all of our real estate people, and it looks like they're going to start making instant offers in two markets on houses.
Yeah, already started, I think, May 22nd. They started doing this in Las Vegas and Orlando. So I guess I don't necessarily know how it works exactly, but I guess you log on, put in your address, and then these private equity groups can buy your house from you all cash.
Make an instant offer.
It's not exactly revolutionary.
Yeah.
There's other companies that are doing it right now pretty successfully. But I think the difference between those companies and Zillow is the Zestimate. And I feel like they're judge and jury. They're telling you how much your home is worth, and now they're telling you who's going to buy it and for how much. And for an uneducated buyer, or for someone who doesn't take the time, or uneducated seller, I should say, for someone who's not going to take the time to really make sure they're getting the most for their home, it seems unfair to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, and I think the vast majority of sellers out there, I mean, you sell a house once every couple of years at most, right?
Sure.
I mean,
2 minutes.
And we have some actually, we were chatting with Heather, who works in our office, and last time she bought a house was in the late 80s. So it's
goodness.
Because she's lived there, raised kids and all that. And then it's like, okay, I got to sell a house. It's not something we do, but every couple of years. So it's not like you're going to be an expert in that process.
Correct. Yeah. And that's to kind of, you need to rely on those experts when you do go to sell or buy a home. And because they are, I look at probably 4 to 5 houses every day. Our company writes somewhere between 50 to 60 reports a month. So that's a lot of knowledge there that you can tap into and make sure you're getting the best,
Well, and one of the things that I will chat with somebody and their house is retail ready and it's not selling, and we tell them, hey, keep marking the price down to get the house sold. Well, my realtor's telling me this and people are telling me that. Why don't you just get an appraisal? Why don't you get an appraisal on the house? That'll tell you what the thing's worth.
Yeah. I mean, it's like buying insurance. You don't want to, but you have to.
Right.
Because if something happens, and that's the same thing with an appraisal. Sure, we already know Zestimate's right half the time, but is that really what you want to rely on?
It's kind of like being a brain surgeon. You don't want to be right half the time.
Yeah.
You prefer to be right close to 100% of the time.
Sure. Or it's more like getting a general practitioner or a family doctor to do a brain surgery.
Yeah. Or you're taking a flight and they only land the plane.
Are we
half
like
the
having
time.
a competition with analogies
That's
right now?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
you
I'm
go.
trying to think of the most absurd one, right?
Yeah.
50% landing. Takeoff to landing is 50%.
Yeah, we land correctly 50% of the time. Yeah.
So, all right, we get back from the break. We'll talk more with Michelle Emler, and we're going to come up with more absurd analogies.
Yeah, we're going to practice.
Yeah. Phone number 713-785-1817. It's Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
Are you an active real estate investor?
What's funny is Tom always says,
a real estate attorney
whenever
is a
we're
member
flying
to add
somewhere,
to
he'll
your
grab
team.
the pilot and goes,
Contact
hey,
Law
man, we
at
want to keep those
346-231-1120.
takeoffs to landing on 1-to-1 ratio. And they're always like, yeah,
in real estate and
you
business
didn't really
law
want to do
with
that,
principal
right?
offices
I always
in
think it's
Houston,
pretty funny.
in their acquisitions and dispositions.
Because you're waiting for him to say, well, there was that one time.
Yeah.
Contact Alert Law
Yeah,
at
we have a success rate of landing 97% of the time. Nope, we're not taking off. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for flying.
Yeah.
I think I'm
going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or choose one of our transaction packages to
we
cover
got
your
some questions
sub-2,
here.
wholesale,
More
wraps,
questions?
or private financing deals. Our business and commercial
could
services
you do
include
appraisals
business
outside of,
contracts,
like desktop
entity
appraisals
formation,
outside of
and business
Houston?
consultations.
So I need to have
dedicated firm to serve on your
regional
team,
competency
contact Alert Law
when
at
I'm doing an
346-231-1120.
appraisal. So I'm unfamiliar with the area. It's not going to be a benefit to you. So as long as it's in Montgomery County, Harris County, or Galveston County, Desktop, Fort Bend, Livingston, Waller. It needs to be in this kind of general
Virtuoso
pocket.
Graphics is not your ordinary sign shop.
So
we're your one-stop shop for all your
that
signage
one
and
out
graphic
as far as
needs.
questions,
We're
and then we
located
got
in the
another guy that
Galleria
says,
area and have
looking
been
at
in
buying
business for over
1.2
13 years. We
Gratified
offer a
to be
wide
commercial
variety of
and
signage
residential
products,
uses,
including
houses,
Bandit,
bed and
aluminum,
breakfast.
and
How does
ADA
this-
compliant signs to
I'd
3D
be a
letters.
commercial appraisal.
Need something printed? We can get that done too.
Really buying a business.
From outdoor banners to business cards and anything in between.
Okay.
Take advantage of our laser engraving services. We can custom engrave on many products
We'll have to do
available
these
through our
questions pretty
catalogs
quick 'cause
or
it's
your
only
own
like
personal
3
items.
minutes.
From large orders to small, we can accommodate your specific needs. We pride ourselves on a customer
you guys are
service
not
and
hearing
work
it,
one-on-one
what
with
kind of
customers to
products
make
you
sure
would
they
do?
get a good
Yes,
quality
all the
product.
questions are
Come
now
to our
starting to flow
showroom
in.
browse
Yeah.
our many
Guys,
samples
come
to
on.
get you
Yeah.
inspired.
This is why it
Want
should
your
be a
business
2-hour
to get
show.
noticed?
Yeah.
Give us a call
Oh
at
man,
713
with no AC.
With no AC, that's right. We'll do it in the parking lot.
Or visit
That's
our
fine.
website at
We'll do it in my car.
virtuoso-graphics.com.
We'll like, plug it up. It has internet.
Yeah, there you go.
Rehab loans, conventional loans, FHA, and no
I forgot what I was
income
gonna say, so
documentation
never
loans
mind.
can seem
Did
scary
you bring
unless
the
you have the
Tesla
right
today?
mortgage company
Yeah.
to guide you through the process. Since 2003, Noble Mortgage has been helping investors just like you. Whether rehabbing houses,
Yeah, I gotta look
buying
cool
your
when I
first
come
home,
here.
rental
Like,
or commercial
that's
property,
right.
Noble Mortgage
Big
offers
shots.
up to
I gotta look like a
100%
big
That's
shot
right, big
too.
shots.
Yeah.
Noble Mortgage at 713-680-8100.
So do you
or
drive
visit
that normally when
noblemoney.com.
you're
That's
doing your
Noble
Oh
appraisal
Mortgage.
stuff?
man. So I was gonna
Yeah.
drive it normal. Gonna. It's
Gonna.
my Magnolia accent coming
Yeah.
out. I was going to, yeah.
Real estate
And
investors,
then I
if
drove
you're
it to a
not
neighborhood
familiar
that
with
was
Quest
not very
IRA,
nice.
Let me tell
Just
you what
kind of
you're
normal
missing.
for me.
We've
Yeah.
got
In my
free
Tesla,
weekly
and I realized,
educational
wow,
classes,
this is
networking
really
opportunities,
grabbing a
out.
lot of
ability
attention
to
right now
Yeah.
that I do
millions
not
of dollars
want.
in real estate investing
so
deals. Come by
was
our
gonna
office
sell.
or
I
join us
drive a
remotely
Mini
as we
Cooper.
simulcast all of our
Usually.
educational classes,
And I was going
every
to sell
Tuesday
that,
morning and evening.
but
For more
not
information,
anymore.
Yeah, just
call
keep
us
it.
at
It's just not- it's a safety issue.
Fund
Yeah.
IRAs,
And
or visit
Steve,
our website at
my boo thing, he's like, well, why don't we
questira.com.
just sell the Tesla? And I'm like, no, we can't sell
Can't
it.
sell it,
I
gotta
love
keep
it too much.
Yeah.
How much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to
I think
maximize your
a
investment
lot of
while
folks don't
mitigating
understand
risk.
when they get
This
into
is
this
exactly
business
why
that I
we
think
started
this sounds so
NextGen
stupid.
Appraisals. NextGen
The
is a
hardest
group of
thing, the
appraisers
hardest decision is
specializing in
what
investment real
vehicle to
estate.
drive.
We understand that
Because
investors
if you're
aren't
going to
just
visit
looking for a
neighborhoods,
number
you're
of
meeting
what
with
their property is
lenders,
worth. It's a
sellers, all that.
psychology thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Give NextGen a
Nobody
call.
bats an eye at a $40,000 or $50,000 truck. But if you have a
99.11,
3 Series
or check
used
us out
BMW,
online
they're
at
like, oh, rich guy
nextgenappraisals.com.
showing up.
Yeah, look at you.
Well,
Investor
Yeah.
Loan Source is
30
America's
seconds.
premier
25 grand,
investor loan company. Our products
All right,
and
so
approval
let's get-
process are unique in the
All right,
Houston
which
market.
Make sure we have a lot
First
of
all,
questions.
we loan
I just
based
want to
on
be
the
up to
asset
date.
alone. That means
Yeah,
no credit
potential
minimums,
short
no
sale.
income
We'll
requirements,
talk about
and
this
no
one first.
reserve minimum.
How about
Okay.
this? I'll go through
Second,
I'll ask
we
the
have
questions real
short-term
quick,
loans
and
for
then
fix and
kind
flips,
Yeah,
and several
yeah.
long-term options for
cut
rental
through 'em pretty
properties.
quick.
Since we're asset-based lenders, everyone is approved. Check out Investor Loan Source at ils.cash. That's ils.cash.
This is Business
All right, you
1110.
guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate. I'm here with Michelle Emler of NextGen Appraisals. We got a couple of questions we got to get to pretty quick. Ginger says, since you guys are not here in Amarillo, what kind of products should I be looking for that local appraisers offer?
I feel like this is the rapid fire round.
It is. This is
Okay.
the rapid
Yeah.
the lightning
Here
round.
we go. So first off, you need to check if they offer desktop appraisals. That's a really good indication if an appraiser is willing to work with you and to offer you something that fits your needs. Some appraisers only appraise in certain zip codes or only for certain lenders, whatever. So that's kind of question number one. Question number two is making sure they're really comfortable doing subject to appraisals, subject to repairs, alterations, things like that. And ask them how many they do on a weekly, monthly basis. And if they're like, oh, well, 1 or 2 a month, then you really need someone that's fluent in that language.
James says, I'm looking at buying a 1.2 acre house. That's a big house. 1.2 acres. That's grandfathered.
That's a Walmart.
That's a Walmart, yeah. 1.2 acre house that's grandfathered into be commercial and residential. She uses the house as a bed and breakfast. How does this go into determining value?
So appraisers have to determine the highest and best use of the property. And in that instance, and I haven't looked at it, so I don't know, but I would assume that an income producing property is worth more than a residential property. So you're going to need a commercial appraiser to take a look at that.
All right. Denise asks, I had a contract on a potential short sale and had an independent house appraisal for $40K. And when the mortgage company sent their appraisal, it came out to $110K. Can you explain this? I bet that $110K was a BPO.
I can't explain it without looking at the reports. I'm sorry. But best guess would be someone actually laid eyes on the property and someone didn't.
Yeah. And it's not uncommon on the short sales. They're getting a broker's price opinion, which is you might as well close your eyes and throw your darts at
2
a
minutes.
dartboard to get an appraisal to get a number to even make sense from that.
Yeah, you have a different person looking at it versus. So look, if you need to sell your house, do not call me. I have no idea, and I'm not going to even try and help you because I don't know what I'm doing. I can tell you how much your home is worth and how much it should sell for, and that's where the difference between a realtor and an appraiser is. I have my lane and my expertise, and realtors have theirs. We overlap in a lot of ways when it comes to determining value, but, and I hope realtors agree with me that are listening, I think appraisers have more expertise in that area.
But when it comes down to brass tacks getting the deal closed, nobody cares what a realtor's opinion is.
Nobody really cares what an appraiser opinion is, right? They just care what the buyer's opinion is, right?
Well, to a certain extent, but the bank is going to use your number before they use.
Well,
everybody
that's
else's
true,
number.
right?
That's really what it comes down. The bank is the one that's really buying these houses.
Yeah, and they want to protect their investment.
Right.
Yeah.
So, contact information for you.
Yeah, 713-346-9911.
1 minute.
Or check us out online, nextgenappraisals.com. Also, we have a Facebook page. I really encourage you to go check it out because, one, I love funny Facebook appraisal videos. They're probably only funny to me, but they're hilarious. We also put in a lot of really good articles. I get questions asked out in the field a lot, and I try and go research that question and put it on that page. So there's a lot of good information on there.
Cool. All right. So, and what's y'all's Facebook page?
NextGen Appraisals, Facebook.com/NextGen. It's pretty easy, right?
I just want to make sure it wasn't something else. So
it used to be. Well, I'll tell you when.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Next event for us is going to be June the 8th. The Houston Hilton 9999 Westheimer. You can meet folks like Michelle there and talk her ear off about appraisals. She'll tell you all about it.
10 seconds.
So we will see you then. Thanks for listening. It's been Jason Bible, RightPath Real Estate.
All right, y'all. You guys have a good day.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. So I got
Jason.
Yes.
Oh, make sure you disconnect.
I will. Tom is
thing.
Tom is the prudent non-disconnector.
I know.
I'll tell him he's in big trouble.
Also, it might be on auto connect. Have them take it. Yeah, have them take it. Have them take it out of auto connect. Because it keeps connecting. Yeah.
No, we just turn it all off. He forgets to turn it all off when we're done with the show.
Oh, yeah, just turn it off.
I'll
All right,
make
cool.
sure it gets done.
Thank you.